Akwaba, everybody. Hello, welcome back to another episode of ABS. You are watching MinaTV. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hey.
How you say hello in your language?
Ndewo.
Ndeo.
So Ndeo to all our Nigerians. How would you say it in Igbo?
It's the same thing, but I'll say for the Muslim, Sanu.
Sanu Kade.
Okay.
Yes, I know that.
Nice.
You guys look beautiful.
So do you. I love your outfit today, Charlie. The yellow.
Like a king.
It looks amazing. In Ghana, we call this batakari, right?
Listen,
Yeah.
thank you so much. I attribute that to my designer, Bello Couture. He makes nice.
lovely.
Yes, he gets
So
me together.
nice.
But you guys look amazing as well.
Thank you.
Yes. So are you ready for today's topic, though?
I'm ready.
Oh my God, it's gonna get
What's the
hot.
gist?
It's
What's
gonna-
the juice?
I promise you, it's gonna get hot in
Give
this
us that
place.
tea.
So if you're there watching, get you some wine. I mean, if you're legal, get you some wine, get you some snacks,
Some
and let's
tea.
dig in. Okay?
And if you're not legal, sip a cup of tea.
Yes.
Yep,
Yes. So
yep.
what's going on, Timani? What do you want to tell us?
Do I have to be the one to always deliver
Yes,
the
I
news?
want you to. Yes.
Okay. All right, today is about the controversial pastor, Apostle Johnson Suleman.
Oh, we talked about this guy before.
Yes, sir, we did. But this time around, it's something very, very tough, something really serious. In his sermon on Sunday, he made a controversial statement that has got people talking. He said, if a marriage is based on destiny lies, you have a right to get out of it. So, what he said is, for example, if your spouse can have kids, right? Maybe your spouse is infertile, and he or she keeps it from you for a couple of years, and you later find out after so much trials, you have a right to run from that marriage. He said, he didn't even say divorce, he said dissolve. That's what he said. So what do you think about it, Charlie?
What do I think? I have to go first. I have to go first. Well, I'm really, really surprised that a pastor can make such a statement because these same pastors always preach that man don't give babies, but God does, right? So if a man, which is a doctor, declares you as an infertile person, God gave Mary a child, right? As an example. So for a pastor to be like, if your woman doesn't tell you that you are infertile, what if the woman is walking on faith, right? And in hopes that one day she will give that man a child. No, but I'm saying the reason that he is basing the divorce on, I don't understand it.
No.
Like the infertile thing, I don't.
Well,
But the reason
you know
to me
how
is a
in
little
Africa-
shaky.
No, the thing is, I think there was nothing wrong with his statement. I think he shouldn't have used God though, because let's be honest, like no divorce, like even in the Catholic Church, I think if you get divorced, it does not recognize. I don't know. I just know that. Let me tell you, if I marry somebody and they're impotent, they lied to me and told me that they were the most viral men ever.
I have a question.
Drop your
How do
point.
you know that how do you know if you're infertile if you've never been married or never tried to have
No,
kids
you know,
before?
sometimes some people know,
people
like
know.
they know, like they know. Let's say something happens to them and they get tested out, and the doctor tells them already. This is a different situation. He's saying that if these people know that they are
And they keep it from
impotent,
you.
infertile, or whatever.
Yeah, but if you're growing up in church and you were Christian, you've never had sex before. You abstaining from getting. Hold on. Don't.
You never
hold
had
on.
what?
Hold on.
In
If you grow.
2017.
Hold on. He's
They're
preaching to
virgins
church
out
people
there.
he's preaching to the folks in church.
That's
So
true.
I'm saying if you're growing up in church, you've never had sex before, you've never been married before, you've never been pregnant before to check whether or not you can have
But
babies
he's
or not.
saying that if you
know.
lied about it, he said
Okay.
if a marriage is based on destiny lie, and then I looked it up and it was like,
So it's not a complete covenant.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
a marriage is a covenant, right? It's an agreement between two on the side of God to be together forever till death do us whatever.
exactly.
I mean, lying
but-
period is wrong, right?
So what
I
he's
think,
saying,
okay, I
what
get
he's
it
saying
now.
is, if you could know sometime.
You could know.
Maybe some ladies during abortions, they could do some sessions, some abortions, and anything could go wrong. Maybe they didn't. It happens. Trust me. Some ladies have lost their wombs, or how do they
But
put
we're
the English?
assuming
And
that-
then you find out the doctor tells you you're not going to be able to have kids again. You cry about it and everything, and then later in future you meet Bobo. He's so handsome, he's successful, he loves you, and you guys want to get married, and you didn't tell him anything about that.
Yeah.
I can't have kids, so so he can now say, okay, I know.
To make that
Let's
choice.
pray about it. There's nothing God cannot do.
Exactly. That's different.
But you didn't tell him. So to me, I don't really know
And he's
Sha, but
telling
he has a
you,
point.
he's telling you, I want 5 kids. And you're like, yes, I
Yeah,
want
we're
5
gonna have
kids
five
too.
kids
But
now.
you
I
know
get
in your
it, yeah.
head that you are sterile.
I agree with his statement, as in like you should be able to divorce a person whether you're a Christian or not, you know, because sometimes you can get married to someone and they can lie to you. Like your whole relationship can be based on a lie.
Yeah, that's true.
So I definitely, and it's about time that a pastor and churches recognize where in 2017 things are different. What a lot of us fail to realize is when the Bible was written those years ago, life was completely different. That's why some of the things in the Bible are the way that they are.
Yeah.
A pastor should not be preaching something that's literally not in the Bible. Like he's saying this. He's saying the problem with his statement is not the fact that he said it. It's the fact that he said no. In the Bible, you can do it, dude. Point out the passage because I could have sworn that you don't know.
Is he
Okay,
even
I don't
basing
know
it
that
on the
much.
Bible?
I don't know that much.
what
I don't
people are
know
saying.
what it says in the Bible. I don't know if it says if that's okay in the Bible. But let's be honest, if you're a Christian and you're married to a man and this man has cheated on you with 100 women, including your best friend, your sister,
You can get
you're
divorced because of
supposed
adultery.
you're supposed to stay in that marriage because of that. Or if you got married to this man and this man told you that his father is Dangote and this and that, and you're thinking that you're not related to Dangote, and you find out 5 years into the marriage, you should be able. There's nothing wrong with that.
I definitely think you should definitely get divorced.
Yeah,
It's based
of
on
course.
lies.
Because even
of
adultery
course.
is not even accepted in the Bible now. So
Okay.
I mean,
All right, so if it's based on lies, that means the whole thing is a lie.
Yeah.
Right. That means the whole
Yeah.
thing. So I get that. You should be able to make some few choices and one of the choices could be divorce. I don't know. But if I don't want it to be like, oh, you can't have babies, I'm divorcing you. I don't think
know,
that's what
that-
he's
yeah.
saying.
No,
I don't think
that
I don't
is
think
what he's saying.
that's
No, I
what
don't think
was-
that's what he's saying.
See, that's what I was gonna get to. That's why I was saying that how most women, how do you find out that you're barren? Like,
But that's what
you
people
know what
are.
I
you
mean?
can medically, you can.
But
not all women know.
not all women. I mean, I don't.
And this is the
Not all
reason
women,
why I am for marriage before, I'm for sex before marriage now. Because before the wedding day, I should have something in my stomach.
You wanna have some
I should
Nutella?
have little coffee.
Nutella.
You're bringing
Oh,
old
little-
school. That's what they used to do back in the
No,
day.
it's- and
They
that-
would test girls out.
And 90, I have a lot of Nigerian friends, and if I have 20 Nigerian friends that have gotten married, 19 of them were pregnant on their wedding day. They were already pregnant. A lot of Nigerians still do it. It's the only way to guarantee and know that yes, she can actually have kids.
That is the only
And
way.
there's some people that actually they don't have it early. It has to do with maybe low sperm count from the side of the guy.
Yeah,
or,
it could be from the guy as well.
I know
Yes.
a couple who had a first child after 18 years of marriage.
18 years.
No.
Yes,
wow.
for sure, in Lagos.
They
So
were really praying.
They were praying and they were really, really, really
Wow.
into each other. Not everybody would wait
18
that long.
years.
Yeah.
No, not
18
me.
years.
See, that's
Not
love,
me.
though.
Will you?
8. If he was Dangote's son.
I think back to what you were saying. I cannot.
What's
I think
They're laughing in synchrony now. Oh wow.
Ivy,
Wait, hold on.
would you wait 18
Exactly.
years?
Would
Be
you wait?
honest, Ivy.
I know that I would have to pray. God would have to tell me what to do.
Would you wait 18 years?
Yes,
Yes
or
or
no?
no?
At this
Simple.
moment in time, I know for a fact I wouldn't. But but they clearly loved each other. Like that is love.
Yeah.
Like that is love.
And after that, they had
and
twins,
prayer.
so they have 3 kids now.
Exactly.
Oh,
Well,
that is beautiful.
See, that's what I'm saying.
Well,
That's
back to what you were saying about how would you know, according to WebMD, so for somebody to know whether they are infertile, they have to be trying to get pregnant,
Yeah,
right?
so there's no way to know.
So hold on. So like some of the causes can be like hormonal problems and cervical issues. So for him to say that it's a lie, I don't understand. That's the part that I don't understand because you wouldn't
No, he
know.
said if you know.
Yeah,
But I'm saying-
but
Many
that's
people
what I'm
don't
saying
know.
is what's the
Charlie's
chances
saying-
of
Charlie
knowing?
is saying that there's actually a larger percentage of times that you wouldn't know until you were trying to get pregnant. So
Pregnant.
people in his church would use this like, well, the pastor gave me a leeway. I'm going to throw, and you know how Africans are. I mean, I don't want to be general, but we love children and we think children are blessings directly from God.
Yeah.
So if you know how people are, like if you don't have a child within a certain amount of time, they think that you did ritual or
Yeah.
so people would actually use this in a really negative way. So they would think that you used your sperm or whatever,
for money, for wealth.
But
for wealth.
that's what I'm saying. Why does it always have to go with the girl? Like, oh, the girl is the problem.
Or the guy.
It's a culture.
the guy can be the problem.
Yeah.
The guy can
Yeah,
be
The
the problem.
guy, but they always point the finger.
No,
like,
in this case, he was saying girl. And I'm saying this is going to affect women more because guys use this as an excuse. A woman, like if you're, I know it's 2017, but at the end of the day, if you are married and divorced in our cultures, you know, Ghanaian and Nigerian, it's going to be way harder to get married again.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
it's possible. It happens all the time, you know, and people are becoming more and more open-minded. So guys would use this as like, oh, I'm testing out this girl or this woman, and oh, she didn't get pregnant within 2-3 years. It's her fault. Oh, you're right. They always blame the girl. It's your fault. You did something. You got abortions, or you did something, and then they would throw girls out, like, based on this. That's dangerous.
Getting into marriage, I've never been married, but I'm saying, like, getting into something serious, which is a serious thing. People take it for granted. Get it into something serious like marriage. You have to do your research. You cannot always have like the 100% information that you want.
No, you won't.
But you have to take your time in getting to know the person.
Yes.
Ask all the right questions you need to ask.
I agree with you.
I want babies. Do you want babies? You know, like, set goals for yourself. Don't just jump into things because you are 29 as a female and still not married. Like, don't be pressured into situations like that. Then you're going to end up
in that situation.
What he's talking about is very true. Before you marry someone, I believe that you should even find out the family history. If there are any crazy people in the family,
you're gonna be giving birth to crazy
if
kids.
there's a breast cancer, it's because
That's true.
yeah,
There could be high blood pressure in the
you have
family.
to find out
But that
all
doesn't
these
mean you won't
things.
marry them because they have high blood
Yeah,
pressure.
But you have a choice. At least you have that choice.
Aware. You have the choice, and then you can decide to put your family on a diet that helps to fight against those
Education
things.
is paramount.
Yeah, you have to.
Research.
I definitely agree with it. But you know, I'm pretty sure coming from the African culture, for him to say something like that, I'm sure he is catching a lot of heat for it.
Of
because
course.
pastors are not supposed to
Preach on
promote
divorce.
Divorce,
You know,
yeah,
it's
so
supposed
I
to be
don't
for
know.
matter for better for worse. Oh, what did I say?
Yeah, but
Did you say
just
for
because
manner?
just because it says on the vow for better for worse doesn't mean be there. Be
Yeah.
there if it's not working out. I don't think that's what God wants. I don't think God wants you to stay in a marriage
Agreed.
where you're not happy
Yep.
or your husband is beating you every day.
But you said,
or,
but for better,
or worse.
the word worse means that those things you're saying. That's
Yeah,
what it
but
means. It's
listen,
a
no,
we
covenant.
made
for
a vow, right? We made a vow
Yeah.
that says for better or for worse, right? But then you went against that vow.
There's worse there.
Hold on. You went against the love that you had for me, right? So now that vow, that trust is broken. It is broken. So I can stand on that vow and said, well, during the marriage, you said you was going to do this and you didn't do it. So now I'm out. So,
To love
you know,
and to cherish,
just
to
because
have
it says
and
for
to
better or
hold.
for worse doesn't
Yeah.
mean you should stay in there.
Look,
God don't want you to be.
you guys
to be
know
hurt.
I'm not all about pastor, and I'm not all about church.
Here
but
we go again.
I actually really like him for saying this comment because, you know, just because you're a Christian doesn't mean that you should deal with certain things or you should take certain things. What he's saying is true. If you're in a situation and it is unhealthy, you know, do you know
He's not
being
saying
married
it's
to a
unhealthy.
liar
He's
can be
saying
very.
Lies. Yeah.
Listen,
She
I'd
has
rather
a
be
point.
married to a thief than be married to a liar.
Listen, if they lie
thief
to
is a
you,
liar.
if they lie to you, they could steal. If they can steal, they could kill.
A thief is a
so
liar.
I, when you lie to me once, I'm looking at you like,
Yeah.
how you
know,
doing?
a lot-
thief is
You
a
know?
liar.
The thing is that I think is problematic with this pastor is that he said if he just said his personal opinion, but he's trying to say that God wants you to get divorced with people because they're
I want to
sterile.
see. I want to see the receipts. I want to see where in the Bible it said
what
God
I'm
wants you
saying.
to
Let's
divorce.
see.
I mean,
That's why
in the
pastors-
Bible there are certain situations where God will want you to get a divorce.
But that's why
It's and I didn't see that part, but reading from what I've read, one of the reasons could be adultery.
yeah, you can't get divorced.
Like
with
you
adultery.
should
Yeah.
get a
Okay, so if you can, if it is okay, if the Bible does say you can get divorced because of adultery, then he's not lying about what he's saying. Then it is in the Bible that you can get
you
a
did
divorce.
mention that if your man is infertile, you're gonna.
Yeah.
You can't do that in the Bible because the Bible said, but in Matthew, hold on, in Matthew 5, 31 to 32,
yes.
it says, I'm not trying to preach I'm just reading the Bible, all right? So it says, but I tell you that anyone who divorces his wife except for sexual immorality makes her the victim of adultery, right? And it also said anyone who marries or divorces due to sexual, like, like, you know,
infertility.
so you can, based on
Wait,
that.
it says that?
Hold on.
Yeah, it says it. It has been said, anyone who divorces his wife must give her a certificate of divorce. But I tell you that anyone who divorces his wife, except for sexual immorality, makes her the victim of adultery.
So,
and anyone who marries a divorced woman commits adultery.
Yeah,
So,
but
hold on,
immorality. This
Wait,
No,
did you just hear that?
hold on.
That's a strong point. The last sentence is a very strong point. Anyone who marries
a divorced woman commits. So if you divorce if you get divorced and somebody comes and marry you, that's still an adultery.
It's hard.
The reason why it's not, because God did not include that in it. So the only reason why you can have that is if an adultery is being done.
Yeah,
so
but
if your husband is not
divorce-
satisfying you right sexually, it doesn't grant you
The
a
rights.
divorce.
Yeah.
It doesn't grant you a divorce in God's eyes. That's
Yeah.
what it's saying. You know what I mean?
So, but your point is, you're talking about sexual immorality can mean a lot of things, but that sounds something
Sexual
terrible.
immorality, like with another, like
Cheating.
adultery, like cheating on you.
Okay, cheating.
So your
But-
reason is not good enough reason,
So
honey.
that's what I was
You
trying
stick
to.
to
The
it.
pastor is saying
Yeah.
that people can get divorced because someone's infertile and or sterile, and that's not.
No, the
But-
pastor is not
no,
saying
no,
that. The
it-
pastor is
it's-
saying a lie.
A lie.
Like if you don't
if
tell
you
me
knew about it and you didn't tell me about it, it's
What's
just
the
like
difference?
somebody having.
Yeah, it's true. It's not.
just like
It's not.
it's just
it,
like
yeah.
somebody having a very deadly disease and the person didn't tell you
Tell
about
you.
it, and the person got married to you, and then the person gives you, or you contract that disease. It's the same kind of feeling. It's that bad. So that's what he's trying to say. Like
Oh, I
you
get it.
knew you couldn't have babies,
But what
you
Ivy
knew
is
I
saying
wanted
that-
to have babies, and you didn't even tell me like I can't have babies, and for me to make the decision to say okay, I still love you anyways. God can do it. Then I later find out that you can't even have babies when we both go to the doctor, that you already know the solution to that test, and you kept it from me all this while.
See, this is why the
How
Bible.
they
I
handle
think
This is
we
why-
need a divorce. Even if this happened with a pastor and his wife, this pastor needs to divorce his wife. I mean, that is a big
Because the
major lie.
covenants,
But the thing
That is a
that's
big
the thing
major lie.
about the Bible, right? It says a lot of stuff because in 1 Corinthians 7-39, it says that a woman is bound to her husband as long as he lives. So you are bound to me hip by hip. As long as I live.
Exactly.
So it's like,
So there's a pastor preaching against what is not.
yeah,
That's
but
what I'm
does that
saying.
mean that if so far as I'm living, you are bound to me, so there's nothing
but even the same Bible talks about, being separated due to adultery. So bound to me doesn't change anything. But that word has a deep meaning, because that word saying bound to me means that even if I leave you for adultery, you're still bound to me. That's why the other part says if a woman
Except-
who's
okay.
divorced marries
It's
another
an
person, it's
adultery.
still adultery, because you already bound to that man
Another person.
for life, your first husband.
So that's why I think it's just tricky for this pastor to be saying all this stuff basing on the Bible. He should just say it based on his own personal opinion. Look, I know there are liars out in this congregation who got married to people who are infertile and impotent. You can divorce them based on what I think. Don't say it's based on the Bible. I mean, come on, you're a
Yeah.
pastor. Just keep it straight. Just keep talking about the Bible or talk about your personal opinion, but make there's a difference. I mean, just because you're a man of God doesn't mean that everything you have to do, like
It's right.
And
Right.
keep in mind that just because he's a man of God, he's not supposed to be perfect. You know, this is what a lot of us forget, is that they're human just like us. They're gonna make errors. Reason why we need to stop worshiping these pastors and agreeing with them 150%.
That is your
Because
preaching.
they are just
Yazzie and pastors.
They are just
Who wronged you? What
normal,
pastor wronged
regular
you?
people.
You wanna
No,
share?
I'm not that stupid. Ain't no pastor robbing me.
Yeah.
Whatever a pastor could tell me about God, God could tell me. I could read my Bible and I could get that same information. So, it's just unfortunate that people read too much into pastors and
He probably
are
is
reading
has
too
a
much into what
powerful
he's
church.
saying.
Yes,
He
he
does have a
He has a
powerful
big
church.
He has a very big church and it's powerful. So people aren't reading it. They're seeing this guy has thousands
spiritual
of people and he's
leader.
in Africa.
He's guiding them to
He's guiding them and he
spirituality.
talks about it. You know how, we make it seem like people just give pastors power. Yeah, people pray and they give money, but also pastors take it. So he's standing on this pulpit saying, God said, no, God
That's what
didn't
they
say
all-
that.
that's what they all say.
That is the problem. That's what I'm trying
That's
to
what they all
say.
say. They say
Okay,
God said.
God didn't say that, right? But if he walked up to you, you're sitting in his church, he walked up to you and he said, Ivioma,
God said I should
God
give you
told me
$10,000
today that he loves you. You would believe that.
I would.
Exactly. Exactly.
I'm like,
So then why would you believe that but not believe that?
Exactly.
Because we don't
God
want to
could
hear.
have told him anything.
We don't wanna hear the bad news. We just want the good news.
Exactly.
Now,
This is my
wow.
point about pastors.
Yeah, so it's true. We can't always expect the pastors to tell us what we want to hear. Sometimes the truth does hurt.
Yazzie.
Yazzie made that point.
Yazzie nodded and smiled at me, looking smug. Okay, Yazzie, I'll give you that.
You're going to give her
Molly,
that.
I'll give you
clink,
that,
clink, clink, clink.
All right,
So-
but back to the topic now. We have two women in the house.
Yeah.
I think I already know your answer. Let's base the question on what he said. If you in a relationship with a man and later you find out that his battery is low, he has low sperm count or low battery, and he can't really father a child, or the chances of fathering a child is 40-30%, not even up to 50%.
Okay.
You know? And you also find out that he knew about it and he didn't tell you about it, which is what we're talking about. What are you going to do?
Well, you said you think you know my answer. What do you think
Don't
my
worry,
answer would be?
we'll get to you.
Okay.
Honestly, this is sounding so bootleg, but I would honestly just pray. I would ask God for. I really would. I would pray.
So
I
you
would
forgive him for not telling you?
I may or may
Wow,
not.
that's
And kinda, I
divine.
don't know. I feel like if I married someone, okay, I definitely believe divorce is an option. I mean, we're in 2017. You know, there are so many people who married had bad marriages, but I really think when I get married, I really don't want to get divorced. And
Aww.
I don't know about all. I think it's just a commitment, and it's just like I really don't want to do this.
Yeah.
However, he did. That's a major lie because I know I'm going to tell someone like, "Oh, I want like 4 or 5 kids," like, you know, like a normal amount. I'm like, is that a normal amount of children? But no, I would think about that, and that is a major lie. I would feel some sort of way. I would feel really hurt, but then I would be like, this man is my husband. It's hard. It's a hard
I feel
situation.
like I already put you in this situation because you're already seeing yourself in that situation. God forbid, child, but
I know.
you just the
God
taker.
forbid.
And what do you think my answer would be?
I feel like you just.
Wrap it up. Get this dude out
And
there.
then-
Get up out of here.
and
If the guy does that to you, the thing will go. Super, tell me.
But you know what? If I'm gonna be very, very honest. If I was really deeply, truly in love with this man, yes, I'd be upset. Yes, I would probably kill him the second he told me that. But then after that information digests, you have to kind of put yourself in that person's shoes and be like, okay, you know, like, wow, I really understand. Like, you really couldn't tell me that. Wow, you know, and maybe he loved me so much that he couldn't
was
tell
scared
me
to
that.
lose you.
You
Yeah.
understand
I
what
think
I'm
that's
saying?
bullshit.
But you know what though?
Maybe.
You know what I would do? I will pack all my stuff and I'm out the door. Because if you can't tell me something like that,
So then which is
I
which?
don't know what
No, she's
else.
just being human.
She's talking about the process.
Oh,
right?
you're talking about the process
Yeah.
of it. Okay, then it's not bullshit.
Because if you can't tell me that, then what else could you not tell me?
Tell
Because
me.
I
Yeah,
feel
you're
like
right. That's
we
scary.
live in a time where if he would have told me that, and I really, really liked him, and we were talking about my future husband, we were talking about Leonardo DiCaprio, like
Kids.
James Bond, or Kofi Siriboe, or like Morris Chestnut, you know. I mean, come on, we could work it out. We could work it out. We could get a sperm donor. You know, we could. There are a lot of things that we could do nowadays. There are a lot of things
IVF,
we can do
so many
to
things.
have that kid. So there's no need to lie about it. But if somebody lies to you about something like that, especially for a long time, let's say you're married to this person like 5 years and they couldn't tell you that, you gotta go. You gotta go
kinda
because you don't know what else this person is hiding from you.
Well, I think personally, I think divorce, if necessary, needs to be done.
Yeah.
Because there's no way
This
hold
not
on.
even divorce, annulment, as if this
there's-
marriage never even existed.
There's no way you should stay.
That's true. I would
Yeah.
annul it if
You have to annul something like that.
Impotence. And you can, actually.
because the whole thing is based on a lie.
Yeah.
But there's no way you should stay in something when you're not happy at all. I don't think God will want it. I don't think your mother will want that. You know what I mean? Society makes it a big deal. You know, it's like they put a whole label on it. Oh, that woman is divorced, so I wonder what happened.
I know.
You know, it's her fault. It's like the
always
society
blame the
has
woman.
that.
Always.
So Ivy, this is why you must have sex before marriage.
Wait,
this
No,
is
that's
why.
wait. So from what?
Why?
So
So
from what
that
I
this
just said,
doesn't
that's what you
happen.
took out of it.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Wait.
Because that's the topic. That's
Yeah,
what we're
that's the
talking
topic.
about. We are talking
I know,
about.
but from what I just said,
Yes.
that's what you took
Because
out
I
of
want to
it.
be happy in my marriage, and happiness in my marriage is going to include
Sex.
kids, sex. You know, it's going to include those things.
Yeah, so there's two questions, right? The first one you've all answered. So the second question is the other side of the coin. What if you were the one who couldn't have a child?
I wouldn't lie about it. I mean,
Lies. You just lied. You just lied. Let me tell you why you just lied. Let me tell you why you just lied. Let me tell you why you just lied.
Okay, tell me.
Let me tell you why you just lied.
Tell me,
We've
Charlie.
all been in situations where you're not lying, but you pull it. You don't tell the whole truth.
It's called a white lie.
It's called a white
White
lie
lie.
to get what you want.
Yup.
Okay, we've all lied. We sometimes we deduct our age, we deduct our weight, we deduct
Age.
our height,
We always lie about
deduct
our age.
our IQ to get what we want.
Body count.
Body
Harley.
count.
No, but you can't
body
speak-
count.
you can't speak for
body
her,
count.
Harley, if
I'm
you're
speaking for
trying to
her.
get
I've known
married-
her for the past
25 years.
yeah, so I can speak for her. No, but I'm saying you punish the lie.
Wait, let
If
me-
you meet the man of your dreams, Ewo Chineke,
Ewa,
your
lie.
soulmate, your apple of your eyes.
Child.
Ivy, you know you're gonna be telling some white lies to lock him down. You know it. Even if your sex game is not great, you're gonna be like, girl, I
Don't wait.
She'll go for lectures.
Yes. So we all do it. We all do it.
Eh?
We all do it.
No. But okay, yeah, white lies. That's not even. Yeah, everything you said, deducting height, weight, IQ. No, well, not IQ, but everything else, yes. But no, seriously, I wouldn't lie about that because in
That's a
our
serious-
culture, that is like
Taboo.
That is really serious. Like,
Is it taboo?
It is a taboo, and it's really serious. And I know that when you get married, we don't marry just a person, right? We marry the family. So his family is going to be like, why doesn't this woman have any
All
kids?
in your
Why does
business.
it get? Oh my God, they'll be
It's a
dropping
family
by.
thing.
It's a
It's a-
family
it's a
problem.
family thing.
It's a
You know what I
family
mean?
All
problem.
in your business,
They'll be
though.
all in the business, and that's what I would say.
Never
Even with
say
the if I married someone who's sterile, I would definitely call a family meeting. Like, I'm so old school. I would call a family meeting so his family knows it ain't me. Don't come for me. It's your
But
son.
why is it that in the
That's
African
your son. Don't come for
why
me.
is it that in an African community, the mother-in-law always think they have the right to come into your house?
Not just your mother-in-law, sister-in-law, brother-in-law.
Yeah,
Every
child.
single
I
person
be
who's
popping
been
up
a
on my-
huge-
I be popping up on my sister's house like,
Thank
ding
you.
dong.
Paternal
Honestly.
mother-in-law, paternal to be precise.
But honestly, like, let's just be honest. When we get married, and we have family and all this stuff, aren't you gonna be popping through your sister? Like, come on.
No.
I would. I'm like, hey, I'm saying
My sister's
I
married.
do that
My
too. And then I feel
sister's
so bad
married. I'm not
after.
all in her business. She looks happy. If she
Charlie,
likes
it's
it,
an
I love
individual
it.
thing, Sha.
I'm not in people's business like that.
Yeah, it's an
because you know
individual
why?
thing.
Because I don't want another in my business.
Oh, that's why.
You know what I mean? So it's like if it works for you and you like it, I love it. As long as you're not getting beaten or
I think the
anything
reason
like
that.
that.
It's good that Africans are also in each other's business is because it kind of keeps the family stable.
Together.
Like, because not only keeps the family together, but also keeps the family, so there's a problem in the house, there's a problem with this. And then they'll get
Because if you
together.
don't speak to me for 3 months and you just call me all of a sudden,
Exactly.
I'm not gonna take whatever you want to say seriously.
Exactly. But if
Where
they're
have you
always
been?
there,
Now you need me, huh?
yes.
Doesn't it get annoying
You need
too?
to
It
check
does
me
get
in good
annoying.
times and bad times. You need
But
to check on me
it's just
all
family.
the time.
Yeah.
That's why it's called
And then
family.
on top of that, you can, when something happens in your marriage, you can talk to people who are
Somebody,
older than
yeah.
you, or your siblings or your sister-in-laws, and be like, look, this is what happened with my husband. I don't know how to deal with it. Like, let's just be honest. Like, that's what we use it for. It's kind of a support base, and it's also like a knowledge bank. So they're like, oh no, this is how you deal with that, or because it's like. Marriage is so stressful that why should it just be between two people? Like, it should be a whole family thing. I'm so
I
old school.
disagree.
I do.
You don't want them in your business?
I want some
disagree.
support.
I think that,
Yeah, I believe in
and
the
don't get
family
me wrong,
thing.
I come
believe
from
in
a
family.
very, very close-knit family. Like, we're very close. Like, even my cousins, I call them brother and sister. I speak to my cousins. I spoke to like 5 cousins today already, and it's like not even afternoon yet. We're very close, but at the same time, I'm not in their business. Like, we don't do that to each other. I'm not prone. And I mean, if my cousin calls me to talk about something, we'll talk
Yeah.
about it. I give them the honest advice, what I really think, but I'm also not gonna turn around and go to his wife and then start talking about it to his wife, you know, because you have to
I'm
be
not saying
very,
that. Yeah.
but you just have to be careful with that, because sometimes, like, if your husband does something to you and you run and you tell your family loves you, they might never sometimes forgive him for
That's
that.
true.
Like, it can cause issues.
That's a good
so,
point.
That's a good
so
point.
I'm just being honest that, like, you should talk to your family, but you also have to be careful what you say, how
true.
you say it, and who you say it to.
That's a good point.
Because I know if I pick up my phone and I tell my mom, what, you know what Ivy did to me today? Moms, they love
Ivy?
your kids so much. And no, I'm just using it as an
say
example.
T-Manny,
You
for
know,
example.
she will never love you the same again. Like,
Yeah.
that's it. You're crossed off in her book.
That's a good point.
So you have to be careful.
You be careful with that.
as how you go about that. But
yeah,
in
but that
terms
doesn't
of
still, distract you from the fact that you still have to bring them in one or two things. But
Yeah,
not
a little bit.
everything.
Not
you
everything.
You have
do,
to
but I'm just
control the
saying that-
information.
exactly.
Control the
Exactly.
information you share with them.
Exactly.
Is it any difference if like babies are involved? If let's say like the married couples have children, is it easier to say let's get a divorce or let's work it out to help?
The
Oh,
kids.
that's harder.
Yes.
You know, people don't want to get divorced when they have kids. That's why all these Africans have these divorces where mommy lives in Nigeria and then daddy lives in Canada, and then they come together for Christmas.
But it's like a married.
They're divorced. Like
Yeah.
they may not say it to their kids. Nobody in their family knows. But if you live on two different continents and one of you guys is not trying to move to the other continent, then you're divorced. Especially for people who live like.
So
you see
stick
those
it out
African
and
divorces?
fake it for the kids
No.
because
Yeah,
they're faking
that's
it.
for a period of
Oftentimes,
time,
that's what
a little
happens.
bit.
That's what happens in
That's
the,
what they
in the
do.
home
So
culture.
the kids are like old enough to kind of really understand. Like I have a friend, very close friend of mine, and her parents were divorced, but they lived together in the same house and raised all of them till they all went to
African
college.
suffering.
And then after they went to college, then the parents went, you know, you got to commend that. It takes a lot of love and a lot of respect
love.
to do something like that, because
For
I'm
the
pretty
kids.
sure both
Yeah.
parents were probably miserable, but they
Yeah.
did that for the kids, and the kids turned out great. So, you know, you
All right,
have
so
to
let's
keep
go.
that in
Let's go
mind.
back to the pastor with his comment. I think from the conversation, based on what you're saying, is that you understand what he's saying, but the way he said it with the God said this
Yeah.
is where you're finding a little like state your
Problematic.
opinion, back it up with life experiences, and let people decide what to
decide.
do.
Yeah.
But don't say
Don't
God
give them
said get a
instruction.
But
divorce.
maybe that's what God told him. That's why he's a pastor.
Yeah, but
God,
if God is
said
telling
it
you
to
that,
him.
I think we have to be very careful with God say this, God say that. If God is telling you something, please back it up with the Bible, right? Because God wrote the Bible,
No,
right?
but wait a second, Charlie. Wait. If I'm praying and God reveals to me that Charlie is going to win $1 million next week, that's what God is revealing to me.
It doesn't have
I
to be
have
in the
every
Bible.
right to come to on set and be like, hey, everybody, guess what? Oh, Charlie done turned millionaire now. Charlie, don't forget about me. I only want 10%. I don't want anything else. I have every right to say that God told me that.
all right.
I don't have to go and back it up in the Bible that God said when you're going to get money. No, he's a man of God, and he prayed, and God told him that he should let his congregation know that it's okay to get divorces. He's a man of God. Why should I not believe him?
All right, so it's hard for people that are very wavy with their faith in God. If God is, let me give you an example. If God is saying, I'm speaking through you as God and saying, go and steal T-Man's money. But then in the Bible it says, do not steal.
The same
And
God.
if I'm trying to be a Christian and I'm looking at this, it's like, okay, you just said God told you to go steal, right? To go take
Yeah,
his
because
money.
that's what he's telling me.
Yeah, I know that, but then we follow the
Somebody's
Bible.
whispering.
The Bible is the rule of God. It's like we're supposed to follow the Bible, but then it's saying do not steal, and it's like I'm
Because
confused.
I disagree. So what you're saying is we should pick and choose. What you're saying is, and again,
The
my
kind of
issue with
revelations
pastors,
that we get.
we should pick and choose and read through the line what a pastor says and only agree with what's in the Bible. That's what you're saying. In other
I'm
words,
saying you're preaching, right? You said this. You didn't say you said this in the congregation, and the congregation, everybody's faith is different, right? So when you say things out loud and you don't usually back it up with the Bible or what the word evidence in the Bible or examples in the Bible, it makes people that don't have strong faith in God don't know what to do, because it's like
Well,
God
then
is
that's
saying
their
this, but you're
problem.
saying this.
then that's your problem. I don't agree with that. This goes back not to deviate
It's not
from
a
the
problem
topic.
I have. I'm just saying.
Okay, not
so
for
it's
you.
not a
Okay,
problem.
in general,
Okay.
because it goes back to kind of how some Muslims read the Quran and they go to war because that's how they understand it. You have to realize
interpretation.
that everybody interprets something
Yeah, but
different.
you just said they read the Bible and they understand that going. But I'm saying if it contradicts itself, if God is telling you to do this, but then God is also saying don't do this. Do you understand what I'm saying, Ivy?
I understand
I
what
do
you're saying.
understand, because sometimes people think they're hearing, well, this is going to sound really far-fetched, but sometimes I think that people are just listening to the devil. I think some people, the devil is whispering to you and you think it's God.
But you don't understand what God is trying to tell you.
Or no, I think some people are actually listening to the devil. Like, no, like if somebody told you go steal, and you know in the Bible it says do not steal, then who is whispering
That's
to
not
me?
God.
That's not God. That's the devil.
Okay, so then in this case, is it the devil whispering to him for him to say
Look
a
at my
comment?
red jacket.
Listen to me.
Look at like Satan
God.
himself.
Me
Red
personally,
jacket.
I would not go to this man's church. I would not go to it for
You
several.
will not go to any church. You will not go to any church.
I would do my own church. I'm gonna be the pastor. I'm gonna preach to y'all. I'm gonna tell y'all the truth. I'm gonna spit the real deal.
So you personally, what happened?
And I'm gonna take y'all's money. Just like all these pastors. But anyway,
Yazzie, you are a hot mess.
A hot potato mess.
But listen, I wouldn't go to this man's church, but this is again my issue. You know, as a Christian, and I am a Christian, whether you guys want to believe it or not, you should have your own faith. You should have your own relationship with God. And when you go to church, it's not about what the pastor says. It's about how you feel about God and how you understand the word. That is the most important thing, is your personal relationship with God. You're just there to gather, to be among fellow Christians and have a good time praising God. You're not there to take everything that man says word for word. And that is the problem with a lot of Christians. I agree with what he's saying. If you're in an unhealthy marriage, you should first try to work on it, of course. You should go to counseling, do what you have to do. But if it's not working, you gotta go. Whether Christian, Muslim, Buddhist, you should not stay in an unhealthy relationship.
No,
so he's
but
very
that's not
right
what
about
he's
that.
saying. He's
But
only
then
making-
his problem is saying that God said it's okay,
No,
or the
but he's
Bible
not
says.
saying that. He's giving his own. He's saying if you are infertile or sterile, then you can get divorced. If you lied about it, then he's giving caveats to a rule that he made up.
All right, so I just said what she said. Timani supported what he said. Yazzie said what she said. I said what I said. I want to know what you got to say. Let us know in the comments. This is MinaTV, African
Y'all
Blog.
coming to Yazzie's church, right?
Thanks for watching, and if you liked this episode, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. See you next time.